hair, and then you go backwards. So wherever the hairline starts, or wherever you think it should start, then you start there with the Beijing and you go backwards. Now, as you can see, I'm applying it around this hairline, and I'm using a small brush because a small brush should be more precise and it'll be easier to apply than using the standard large coloring brush. And as you can see, it's already beginning to take. It's already beginning to form up and beginning to harden around his hairline. And that's really where the restoration is going to begin, right there. And so what I'm doing, I'm going back and I'm applying just a little bit more to make sure that the restoration takes place and that the dye is beginning to set and to hold in the place that I want his hairline to begin there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and apply that and make sure that it's a sufficient amount on both sides so that it'll all blend nicely at the end of the process when I'm about to wash it out. But I also want you to take notice of the fact that if you apply the solution after allowing it to sit and after allowing it to form up in the darken, you will notice that the application goes on better, and actually it performs better in my opinion. So that's the way I handle that. And also notice that the bowl that it's coming out of, the bowl that I mixed it up in, is a non-metallic bowl. You don't want any reactions going on with the mixture inside the bowl. You don't need any unnecessary reactions. The mixture or the Beijing powder with the water is the only reaction that you really need. So make sure that you don't use any metallic bowls with that. And so once again, I'm going back in and I'm putting a little more dye. As I see it form, I'm putting a little bit more into it just to make sure that his hairline is restored in that area, because he has a problem with fading, hairline fading. So I'm gonna go in and repair that. And once again, now what I used the measuring guide that's included with the Beijing, and I used a half of an ounce, I think, of water, maybe a little bit less than that. I'm not exactly certain, but I use half of that, and then I use half of the Beijing powder that's included, half a bottle of it, and then I began to make the application. So what follows next is just simply me going in and fine-tuning the application. After putting around the hairline, then I'll proceed to go into the rest of his hair, working back toward his cowlick, toward his crown, and making sure that it's continuous throughout all of his hair that I want to darken up, and really making sure that that I'm guiding it in a way that the final result will be one that I'll be pleased with. Okay, at this point now you can already see that the solution is starting to harden around his line, and it's really starting to come together right there in that particular spot, because that was the spot that he was having the most fading. The most fading was occurring in that spot because it was a combination of the fact that he is undergoing a receding. He has a receding hairline, but he went to a barber, and the barber decided that instead of using some type of hairline restoration technique, that he was just going to simply take his line back. And so ever since he's been coming to me, I've been systematically employing techniques to restore his hairline, even if temporarily, because after the barber took it back, it seemed that it wouldn't grow back. And so I'm making further application into his head. I'm going in, I'm putting some along the sides, and I'm working my way back to the crown. And at this point, I'd also like you to notice too that don't put it in one direction. Put it in and try to really get it to soak into the hair, around the hair follicles as well as the scalp. Try to get a generous amount on, so that when you get the client up and take them over to the sink to wash it out, that all of the solution doesn't come out. Some of it remains, and it keeps the hairline where it is, and it also makes the rest of the hair more crisp and clean and professional looking. So like I said, I'm working my way back towards his cowlick, towards the crown of his head. So I'm going in many various directions so that it will sink in and so that it will have the effect that I want it to have. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm going in, I'm feathering out the sides for a more realistic look. The dye is going to set, but I want it to set in a way where it emulates, the actual way that his hair is cut. And as you notice, I went back also too and put a little bit more dye around the hairline area. I'm smoothing it out now and making sure that it's properly setting. And one thing you will notice now, if you have been paying attention, the dye, the application of the dye is becoming darker. And that's what you want. You want it to become darker. As it begins to dry, you want it to become darker because that lets you know that the procedure is going exactly as planned. The finishing touches are being applied to Omar now. I'm making sure that the solution is thoroughly coated the area where it is that I want his hair to be the most distinct as far as being dark, being black. And so that's what I'm going about doing, making sure that there's coverage all over that area. And in the next few minutes of this video, I'll show you how it is that you can really lock that color in. And the way in which you do it is by using a hair dryer. Now for Omar length of hair, which is a #1 guard, you can put him under a hair dryer and leave him under the dryer for about 30 minutes. 30 minutes. You'll notice that the hair becomes very, very hard to the touch. But you'll leave it under there for about 30 minutes, and then afterwards you take them out and